The dusk was settling over Silver Gulch, painting the arid badlands in hues of flame and twilight gloom. A chill gust swept grit along the forsaken lanes. That's when she materialized, stepping into the shattered Dusty Rose Tavern like a specter pursued by some unspeakable horror. The whole crowd went still. Every gaze in the place locked onto her. And Ethan Harlan, nursing a tumbler of bourbon by his lonesome, sensed a stir deep in his chest. He didn't know her yet, but one truth hit him square. She was neck-deep in peril. And in a forsaken spot like this, peril had a nasty habit of barreling right toward the grave. Ethan Harlan wasn't the type to flinch at shadows. Pushing 43, he'd charged through battlefields, tracked fugitives for coin, and witnessed horrors that had curdled the blood of lesser souls. His mug bore the marks, a ragged gash across his cheek, peepers that seemed to have misplaced any spark of optimism. But even he held his breath at the sight of her. She lingered just past the threshold, gasping like she'd sprinted across half the territory. Her skirt was ripped and caked in grime. Strands of raven locks tumbled untamed about her features. She couldn't have seen more than 24 summers, yet those eyes, they carried the weariness of a century's worth of sorrow. No lady wandered into a dive like this solo, unless desperation clawed at her heels. "Straight off your path, darlin'?" Buck Ramsey drawled from a dim booth. He was the sort who got his kicks stomping on the vulnerable, just to puff up his own hide. He rose deliberate-like, with a pair of roughnecks shadowing him. "Or you here huntin' the sort of job we might tip for?" His tone slithered, oily as his leer. "I need a meal," she murmured. "Something to eat and a drink. I'll earn it, fair and square." Her words wobbled but held. The hush deepened, thick as smoke. Folks eyed her, some with raw appetite, others a flicker of sorrow, most just morbid intrigue. Hank the barkeep muttered under his breath, waving her off. "Skedaddle, we ain't looking for your kind of storm. This here's a decent joint." A smattering of chuckles rippled through. Silver Gulch hadn't sniffed decent in a couple decades. Ramsey edged nearer. "Reckon I could line up some chores, if you're the appreciative type." His drawl dropped husky, and she recoiled a step. Fingers quivering, but jaw set defiant all the same. Frightened to her bones, maybe, but unbowed. Ethan eased his glass to the scarred bar top, untouched. He'd sworn off meddling 1,000 times over. No more tangles. But that raw plea in her stare pinned him. Genuine. Wounded. "She asked for grub," Ethan rumbled. "Not your filth." Quiet thunder, the variety that gives pause. Ramsey went rigid. "This ain't your scrap, Harlan. Best not stir it." Ethan unfolded to his boots, unhurried. He wasn't a giant, but he carried a weight that swelled the space around him. Reckon it turned personal the second 3 louts started prowling a gal who can scarce keep upright. A brittle quiet strangled the room. Ethan and Ramsey locked glares, feral as coyotes itching for blood. At length, Ramsey yielded ground, though a sneer vowed payback down the line. Ethan pivoted to her. "Name?" She weighed the ask, wary. "Lila," she breathed. "Lila Bennett." "Come on," Ethan nodded toward the exit. "I know a spot for victuals and a cot. I'll square up come dawn." Her gaze surged his, voice fracturing. Why? Why bother? He held steady. "Reckon somebody owed me the same once upon a time." It never came. She fell mute, but fell in step as they slipped into the dying glow. Frost was creeping in. Lila faltered once. Ethan steadied her arm. She felt frail, hollowed out from hunger. When he probed about her last square meal, her reply landed like a gut kick. 3 days? 4, maybe? Mrs. Harlan's inn hunkered at the tail of a hushed alley. Lanterns flickered cozy through the panes, whispering haven. Lila paused at the stoop. "Crash here till mornin'," Ethan urged. "Tell Mrs. Harlan I'll cover it at first light."
You scarce know a thing about me," she murmured, throat tight with unshed damp. "Don't gotta. A beat. Now hustle inside for your knees give." She drifted nearer, lips parting like more words brewed, then sighed it off. "Much obliged, Mr. Harlan." "Rest up," he tossed back. She wheeled but glanced over her shoulder ere the latch clicked. "Elias, my man, he passed 8 months back. I had a world once." The confession crumbled into hush. Then she was gone. Ethan trudged to the wastes where his lean-to squatted, but Lila Bennett's echo shadowed him. He hunkered by his blaze till embers sighed low, mulling how her gaze had cracked on "I had a world." And buried deep, some ember he'd figured snuffed forever, it kindled anew. The gale wailed caution through the crags. Ethan peered into the void and muttered, "Ain't wrapped up, not hardly." Trouble? It had scarcely scratched the surface. Dawn broke grudging, brittle with frost. The orb hauled itself above Silver Gulch, wan and sluggish, as if yearning for the toil. Ethan strode into the hamlet, a scheme taking shape in his skull. Couldn't say why he felt tethered to Lila Bennett, only that peril had marked her, and peril? He spoke its lingo fluent as breath. Mrs. Harlan's inn lay serene when he rapped. Lila cracked the door. No more shivers, but exhaustion etched her still. Tresses tidied, skin scrubbed, yet that gloom clung to her stare, like bracing for the next lash. "I'll pull my weight for breakfast," she declared, preempting him. Mopped the planks, lent a hand with the linens. "Ain't no debt on Grace," Ethan countered. "Firm as flint," she shot back. "Handouts? I turned that page." She left that page hanging, but Ethan glimpsed the bruise beneath. Whatever hell she'd weathered, it had schooled her. Favors always tallied a toll.
He jerked his chin streetward. Chat somewhere hushed, wary, but she trailed him round back to a modest patch of green shielded by a splintered rail. Far-off clangs of hammers and creak of carts filtered through the crisp. "Truth time," Ethan coaxed, soft. "What's chasing you?" Lila hugged herself close, frame coiling like thunderheads massing. "Said it already. Elias died." "Fair enough," a nod. "And after?" She drifted her gaze afar, whisper thin. His kin showed to sort the leavings. Victor Bennett. Claimed Elias owed heavy. Mortgages, tallies, house, shop, all seized by the lenders. Said I could linger if I proved accommodating. She choked, gulping air. Accommodating. Ethan's teeth ground. Spare the details. He divined the rot. Fought to unmask the lie. Unearthed Elias's secret books. But Victor owned the lawman and the bench. They scoffed. Grief's delirium, they called it. Lila pinched her lids shut. Plotted to ship me off to the madhouse. For my welfare. Her timbre quavered there. Ethan inhaled deep, corralling his fury. He'd clocked how the mighty ground folk like Lila under heel. "So you bolted." "Yeah," she husked. "Grabbed what fit my grip. Slipped Nebraska under cover of dark, but brigands stripped me days out, satchel savings every scrap." She lifted to meet his eyes. "Wanderin' sense, skulking, pleading, clinging to hope." Ethan propped on the rail, appraising. "Frail? Nah. Frayed, sure. But that core flame? It guttered, but glowed." "You owe zilch," she blurted. "Don't aim to weigh you down." He scoffed gentle. "Ain't a load. Never was." She scanned him, braced for the retract. When none came, she exhaled a sigh pent ages. That's when Mrs. Harlan barreled from the rear, face flushed, winded. "Ethan," she rasped. "3 of hard cases just thundered in, sniffing around you and her." Lila iced over. Ethan's gut twisted alert. "Who?" "Strangers, one flashing 10 but fake as a $3 bill. Rough stock, lethal." Ethan clocked it. Victor's hirelings, not for right or writ, but to haul Lila to perdition.
Sling your gear, he ordered. We light out. Pronto. We, Lila gasped. Ethan, you've risked plenty. They'll end you. He shrugged it off. The way I tally, I'm hitched already. Might as well ride the rail. A ghost of a smirk. Hate leaving Ramsey thinking he spooked me, anyhow. Lila's mouth quirked dry. Speaking of, he ain't quit on you. Let him queue up, but this roost's burned. Gotta stash you safe. Gotta spread northwards, solid folk. Hustle now, we shake 'em. She wavered. And you? Trailing along? He averted. The query he dodged inward. Lone wolf by creed, solace in the wild hush. Till her. Escort you there, he vowed. Rest, we'll hash. Lila dipped her head, but her gaze pierced the hedge in his oath. They'd scarce cinched the saddle when hollering erupted from the high street. Yells, portals banging, loose lips had sung. Wrong ear, right whisper. Alleyway, he hissed. Tail my dust. Lila swung aboard. Ethan vaulted behind. Head low, grip tight. They spurred fierce through byways, bursting townward's fringe. Clods erupting under iron shoes. Ethan's pulse thundering war beats. Trailing, cracks of lead, baying voices, fresh quarry afoot. The plains unfurled, Lila clung to his spine. Cheek to his blade, she breathed faint. I ain't scared to die in, Ethan, but going back, that's the terror. He cinched the reins. Then we don't. No halt, nothing stops us. The wastes yawned boundless, treacherous, luring, laced with dread and dawn, and tucked somewhere, a tomorrow, if they clawed long enough to seize it.
The Badlands sprawled eternal, a merciless echo of Lila's shattered yesterdays, and Ethan's yearned to flee the noose. 2 days they hammered on, grinding through dunes and thorn brush, scant pauses to gasp. Lila latched to Ethan like he anchored her against the maw. Yet for all the leagues devoured, menace slunk nearer, a phantom you can't quite elude. Third eve they holed in a slim ravine, veiled from the flats. Ethan coaxed a modest blaze, ringed by stones to hush the glow, while Lila burrowed in his duster against the bite. Her complexion ashen, digits fluttering from the drain. Snatch some shut-eye, Ethan murmured. She regarded him, irises aglow in the dance. Can't, not with them prowling. He settled opposite at last. Firelight lent him a fleetin' youth, glimpsing the feller before gouges and grief etched canyons in his soul. Secure tonight, he soothed. I got the vigil. Lila denied it. Days you stood sentry. And you, Ethan? Who's guarding your back? A hush saved the snap of sap. Quit banking on watcher's age is back, he allowed low. Then you blew in. Words failed her, so quiet reigned, pulse racing with the unspoken. As slumber tugged, Ethan's murmur sliced the veil. Lila. Lids fluttered open. Got a jaw about the spread. Mrs. Ellis and her lads will shelter you. Pitch in, pay your way. Safe harbor. She parsed him keen. You? Jaw locked. Push on. Fella like me, roots ain't my game. Lila's glare sharpened. A dam burst inward. So that's your play? Swoop in, yank me clear, then fade like mist in a yarn? Cleaner that road, Ethan pressed, gaze adrift. Folks I latch to, they don't draw breath long. Fact of it. She surged up, quaking from wear and wrath. Won't swallow that, not one lick. You don't know the wreckage I hauled. Soft, but steel. No, I know you, Ethan Harlan. Truth, you ain't splintered, you're spooked. Spooked of feelin', of losing ground again. He bored into the blaze, mum. The quiet hung smoggy, but fate cut it short. Near in witchin' hour, Ethan caught the drum. Mounts, 6 closin' swift. He bolted upright. Burrow, hug the earth, yonder boulders. Lila melted into gloom sans demur. Ethan snatching his repeater, hunking Monk's slabs at the defile's mouth. The pack loomed, looping under Luna. Buck Ramsey leadin', trio of manhunters in tow, and laggin', duded in finery and smug curl, spite the dust, was Victor Bennett. "No Harlan," a voice hissed. "Irrelevant, he's near, the dame too, fan wide." Ethan traced Lila's hitched breaths astern, jittery but keen, heeding his drills. Victor's timbre oozed nightward, slick. "Lila, pet, show yourself. We square this gentle. Can folk squabbles needin' sour?" Ethan's murmur ghosted back. "Hear me. They spot you, I drop. You bolt. No glance reared." Lila's tone held, though salt traced her face. "Not leaving you." "Lila, I can't—" "Wait, no, she said it flipped, fierce, that sealed it." Ethan strode bold, a breath's pause. Irons gleamed spectral, stares riveted. "Rapid," Ethan even. Ramsey leered. "Slim odds, Harlan. No scrap, no bolt, no tomorrows. Oughta sat it out." "Curious," Ethan quipped, levelin'. "Murdered the same to my mirror back in Silver Gulch." The opener's roar ignited bedlam. Ethan plugged Ramsey clean before tumbling to earthworks. Manhunters blazed eradicate, slugs carving moonbeams. Lila molded to stone, his name a litany on her lips, but Ethan lagged numbers, bled vigor. A crease scorched his limb. Next thudded his flank. He growled, endured, shielding her with his drags. Victor advanced then. Iron barked once, chewing Ethan's thigh. He buckled to haunch. Lila's cry rent air. "No!" "Don't!" Ethan bellowed her way. Victor wheeled, gaze vacant ice. "Shoulda piped down, Lila. Wasted breath all." Lila rose, dread shed. "Silence, nevermore." She hurled stone true, cracking Victor's brow. His haste shot wild. Ethan spied the breach, claimed it. Last bark. Victor Bennett crumpled. Quiet slammed the gorge. Ethan hauled slow, agony-laced. Lila dashed, bracing his sag. "Fine," he husked, straining erect. "Liar," she wept, droplets staining his chambray. "Stay, don't ghost me, not now, not ever." He cradled her as Luna loomed sentinel. Gale keened by, exorcising his specters at last. Daybreak bore aid. Will Decker marshaled U.S. riders, sparked by Ethan's midnight wire. Victor's fall, clean kill. Hunters cuffed. Ramsey planted shallow, nameless. Ethan, Lila, unshackled, truly. Fortnight on, beneath Oregon's vast vault, Ethan Harlan teetered in fresh threads, crutch propped awkward. Lila beamed adjacent, draped in modest finery loaned from a spread wife. The parson beamed benign. "This band. With this loop, I pick you, battle for you, breathe for you dawn to dusk." Lila's timbre quivered. "This loop, I pick you. Freed me, not just their claws but my chains. I'll flank you eternal." He bent, rogue glint. "Vow you hens, a plot, tomorrow's aplenty." Laughter bubbled through her shine. "Seal it, son, the bride's yours." He drew her close at last, claiming the kiss as breeze whisked vows skyward. No more flight. They had rooted. And off in some dive in Silver Gulch, a voice had lift a snort and spin the yarn of Ethan Harlan and Lila Bennett. Pair of fractured hearts, scorning dread to claimed kin, battling the world entire. and victors alive in the marrow.